extraordinary music.
What's going on, Masterclass family? This is your boy, Mr. Adams, bringing you the Masterclass trade of the day. The Masterclass trade of the day is Netflix. I believe the Netflix trade was probably my greatest or best alert of the entire year. And here's why. Starting off, as we can see yesterday here on Netflix, it wasn't consolidated majority of the day, but all of the activity was fairly concise. And when the market closed, it did begin to consolidate after market, and it consolidated in the pre-market. And during the consolidation in the aftermarket and the pre-market, it was forming our typical gold setup. That's our Beyonce, where everything gets tightly together. And it's forming the gold setup somewhat in the middle of the previous day's high and low. I would call that a gold middle. The money flow was extremely bullish or positive for both the chalking money flow and the money flow oscillator. And when the stock market opened at 9:30, you can see that the volume is incredible. Large amounts of volume, big buy orders coming in here for Netflix. Last night on Trading Nation, someone did a breakdown on why they believe Netflix was going higher, and he showed that every time it has a 10 to 12% dip, it's usually buyable and the stock explodes higher. So that was one of the reasons why Netflix was on my radar, along with the standard gold middle setup that had married levels right above it that caught my attention. So we had to break out here around 9:45 when Netflix had broke above the married levels here. I put out the alert about 9:38, and it never looked back. It didn't even give you an opportunity for a pullback to get a better entry if you miss the first entry early in the morning. However, if you got in pretty much at any point of the day, you're able to make some money. Let's take a look at Netflix on the other time frames. Alrighty, so looking at Netflix on the 30-minute time frame, we can see we have a gold setup as it relates to all of the moving averages being tightly together. Netflix held the 50-day moving average on the 30-minute time frame, and it broke above the 50 and the 200-day moving average and the cloud on the 30-minute. On the 1 hour, Netflix was somewhat of a silver as far as the setup is concerned. Pre-market, considering that Netflix was below the cloud on the 30 and the 1 hour, it didn't make it ideal for me, but it was still watchable because of the setup that I was seeing on the higher time frames, which I'll show you next. On the daily chart here, you can see how Netflix yesterday, give me 1 second. Yesterday it held the 100-day moving average, and it's been holding this 100-day moving average for what appears to be about 2 weeks, which is a positive sign. If we take a look on the weekly chart, it's holding the 20-day moving average, and it closed above the 10-day moving average, and the money flow is positive. So that's a good indicator that from a long-term perspective and on a higher time frames, Netflix is still very valid and has a lot of interest. Also on the daily chart, Netflix had somewhat of a flag. This is the flag pole. If we were to scale it up here, this is the top of the flag pole. We bring it down, that would be a flag. I'm not going to draw it out. I do them all the time, but this is the flag pole here, and that's the actual flag. And today is the new breakout for that. You kind of have the same thing developing on the weekly chart as well, just from a longer perspective. If we take a look at a new feature that I added on my personal charts, where I've created a series of moving averages to show what the traders are trading and what the investors are trading. We have a tight compression of the two groups. The red line represents investors, so that's like a 30-day, 40-day, and 50-day moving average. And the blue lines are the 5, 10, and 15-day moving average. And now we have compression here. And today's candlestick broke above and held all six of those moving averages. And I highly believe that the traders are about to change the trend on Netflix, taking it back higher to test the highs of 204. I do believe that's going to be that's possible. To take a look at the options chain on Netflix, there were 110,000 calls purchased on Netflix in comparison to 71,000 puts, meaning that there's bullish activity. The 190 calls opened up at 30 cents. They hit a high of $4.67, which is probably like a 15 to 1. They closed at $3, which is an easy 10 to 1. That's a 1,000% return on your investment. The 192.50 calls opened up at 7 cents and went as high as $2.57. That's like a 36 or a 37 to 1, over 3,600% return on investment on your money. That's insane. Once again, I put out the alert at 9:30. Because of the percentage gains with Netflix, this has to be probably one of the greatest alerts that I put out. I mean, it had a $7 move altogether today alone, starting off with a tight gold middle and dual money flow that broke above the Mary levels with very high volume. Masterclass, dominate.